What's up, nerds? Welcome to Nerds Gone Rogue, episode 97. Inching ever so closely to the keeping it 100. I am Matthew Keel, as always. I am joined by my cast of characters. We'll call them this week. We've got an American-born Canadian mammal, and we've got a dickhead Cavs fan that is the biggest Rockets fan in the world right now, and I have an Xbox guy here. I don't know what's going on. Moose, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm very good tonight. How are you, man? I'm
all right. Thank you for asking. Corey, president accounted for. How are you, sir?
I'm here. Woo! Woo! I'm the biggest Rockets fan right now.
And Jesse Douglas from Arsenal X and Nintendo Pavlok. How are you, sir?
Doing great. A little exhausted. A long weekend with the kids.
Well, welcome to the shit show. We're so happy to have you.
You'll be right at home.
Now, any of y'all been playing in games? Jesse, you're cherry popping tonight. You're first.
Yeah. So I've been playing some State of Decay 2, and loving that game. It's like I like the first one, but they definitely a lot of things they've made better on here. So I'm loving the second one. It's much nicer looking and everything like that. I actually just recently finally me and Ed kind of had set up like games that we wanted each other to try and play. Like something that maybe we wouldn't necessarily play or pick on our own. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if Corey's ever gonna do his, but we picked Saints Row 2 for him, I believe. Yeah.
Saints Row 2 is a good game.
Yeah. Is either 2 or 3. We just want him to play one because he hasn't yet.
To be fair, I downloaded Saints Row 3 to my Xbox.
Okay.
It's in my queue.
It's about as far as it'll go, guys. It's about
I'm going to say this. Play 3 instead of 2. 3's
better. Yeah. I just, my thing that I liked about 2 that they did is like, how most games, like, to get unlimited ammo, you'd have to put a code in. Mm-hmm. I like how they locked that stuff behind finishing side missions, like side quests. So if you finished all of a certain side quest, you could have, like, unlimited ammo for your, like, light machine guns or your pistol. Like, each thing you could get unlimited ammo for, but they would lock it behind side missions instead of you putting a code in. Which was kind of cool because, those kind of games, like having unlimited ammo just makes it that much more fun to just run around and shoot things up. So Ed picked for me, he picked Sleeping Dogs. And like I had tried it in the past and it just wasn't really catching me. So I played it and I was having a lot of trouble with just getting into it because just certain things like mechanics were just not working well with me. And as I went on, it got a little bit better. Like as you like unlock different moves and stuff like that, it got a little better. But for the most part, I mean, it's not a bad game, but it's still not like my favorite. But I did enjoy it for the most part, though. I mean, there was things that that bothered me early on, but so I finally beat that because I think I had until the end of the month to try to beat that, and then I finally finished Tomb Raider, the definitive edition. So now I'm gonna start Rise of the Tomb Raider, and then hopefully get that done before the new one comes out. So, but yeah, so I've been playing those and a couple of things on Switch, the Pinball Arcade or whatever game, some Zelda, and then obviously like for Arsenal X or for Squad Goals, we do like Fortnite and stuff like that. So play that every once in a while, and play World War II every once in a while too, Call of Duty. Okay. So that's been the first Call of Duty in a long time that I've actually enjoyed playing. So I don't really buy them anymore, to be honest, unless like my friends get it for me or something. Yeah. Because it just doesn't do it for me anymore. I'd rather play Siege.
Yeah.
Fair.
Siege is good.
Corey, you get any game time in? Are you still in full on baby prep mode?
Prep.
No, it's not. It's not that I'm in baby prep mode. Although we did go to a baby class last week, so that was exciting. I learned how.
What kind of baby class? We
learned how.
Lamaze?
No, it was like how to properly like hold your baby and clean your baby, and we learned how to swaddle.
Oh yeah, swaddling's a good time.
Yeah,
So good for the baby because it makes them comfortable and it makes them go to sleep.
Yeah, so
I think I don't know anything about kids.
We did that, and tomorrow night we are going to have Sana's maternity pictures taken, and I guess I'm a part of that too. I guess probably since I'm the dad, as far as I know. So. You know, Moose is cracking up. Look at Moose's face.
We'll see when he was saying he doesn't know anything about kids. Like I had like a couple wise remarks, but then all of it was just disappeared when he reacted to, yeah, I guess I'm a part of that.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Now, while Moose is laughing, just to tell you a little bit about kids, they're like little versions of you without facial hair.
No,
they freely poop wherever they want.
Moose's first kid's coming out with a goatee.
It's going to look at Kelly and go, "You're welcome."
Exactly.
He's gonna tie that umbilical cord with like a necktie.
He's gonna walk out like Rafi from League, like, guess who's raising the coolest fucking kid in town?
I love that show. I miss that show.
Have the later seasons been on Netflix?
Yeah,
they were. They went off Netflix a while ago.
Yeah,
they went off Netflix and Hulu at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
And I've not. I keep wanting. I'm like this close from just pulling the trigger to buying it on Prime so I can watch it whenever I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's see. I also made the first hype trailer for episode 100. Pretty excited for that. That goes up on Friday. Well, I mean, if you're listening to this or watching this on demand, it's already up. It's already up. So, that was fun. That was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about Moose. All about Moose.
Yeah, if you're watching this when it's live, the next one should be just a day away. I think it's yours, right, Corey?
Yeah. Yeah, I saved the best for last. That's you, Matt.
No, you should be last then because you're the best.
No. I'm like, okay. I'm the best version of mediocre you're gonna get, and it's great.
Wow, that is the 60% of the time it works every time of NGR statements. So, speaking of hype trailers, and Moose's hype trailer, which is on YouTube.com/NGR, Moose, you've been playing some games. I know you have.
Yes.
Oh, it's okay. I didn't want to talk about what I've been playing. It's cool though.
Oh, I thought you were too busy worrying about whether or not you were somebody's father.
No, it's cool.
he was needing to get that.
Well, hey, Moose. Hey, Moose, what have you been playing?
What have you been playing, Moose? Corey, what have you been playing? What have you been trying to play?
Listen, baby daddy, have you been playing games? Yes or no?
Yeah, some.
What have you been playing?
You know what you haven't been playing? God of War. Because if you were, you would beat it and you would have been on the spoiler cast.
It's because I only have it's only because like every time I find a free moment, it's like 20 or 30 minutes, and I don't want to sit because like God of War is a game that I want to sit down and spend like 5 hours on, not That's like true. 20 minutes.
That's not gonna happen because you got Bebe on the way.
Oh, it's gonna happen because a lot of our stuff. No, it's the reason why I haven't been gaming a lot for myself is because I'm trying to get content for the YouTube page before the baby comes because I'm not going to have a lot of time to do it then.
That's true.
So like we do have squad goals through August. Pretty hyped about that.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But
what is it? Was just all Master Chief Collection?
No. We did some Gears, we did some State of Decay,
Nice.
Halo 5, and there's some Siege in there, there's some Overwatch.
Shooters.
There's Overwatch in there. There's what else is in there, Jesse? I don't remember. Sea of Thieves.
Cool.
PUBG. Yeah.
And
there's a lot in there.
Hopefully Destiny, or not Destiny, but
don't get Corey back on the Destiny. No. No.
The Division.
Of
Yeah,
Talos. No.
But
No.
in the maybe the hour that I gamed for myself this week, I played a lot of Gears of War multiplayer and some Halo 5 multiplayer.
Yeah,
it's a good time. And some Overwatch. Overwatch is still good. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but still good.
Yeah, I reinstalled it on my PS4 just because I was up in Pennsylvania last weekend, and a buddy of mine that I game with lives up there, and I didn't get to see him, but I was like, hey, I like see you on all the time. He's like, no, yeah, I'm actually playing. He's like, I'm playing while I'm online, because usually like some people are like not really there when they're online, and because he works for the police department, so he's got some crazy hours. And so I was like, all right, next time I see you on, I was like, we'll play some Overwatch or something. It just hasn't happened yet because I haven't seen him on these last couple of days. Probably because he's partying like a mother trucker. But if you know how to do it right, that's the only way to party.
Word.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's all I've been playing, really. I want to get back to God of War. I want to get back to Lightfall. I want to get into N++ on Switch, which I still haven't gotten. I mean, look, if I start playing N++, this website's not going to update itself. You know what I mean? It's just going to
true. That's true. Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah, you haven't finished. Have you finished Mario Rabbids yet, or no?
Nope. I'm still on the third. I'm still on the third world.
I finished that, and then Lightfall I finished as soon as I could.
I want to finish Mario Rabbids so I can play the Donkey Kong DLC.
Dude, Mario Rabbids is good ass.
Yeah.
Well, you're never gonna play it if you don't. You're never gonna play the DLC if you don't play the regular game. So get to it, man.
Do you want a nice looking website, or do you want it just to look like somebody wiped their ass on the internet?
You have me hosting the show.
A little bit of column A, a little bit of
I don't know. I don't know.
What kind of answer do you want out of that? I mean, you have me and Matt
help you
as your co-hosts. The fuck? I mean, come on. I mean, come on. You really set your expectations low. That's what he's doing, man. He's setting his expectations low, and then whoop, break.
That's what I do.
The thing is, he's still shocked he's hitting the bullseye.
True.
Okay. Now, anything else, Corey?
Nope. I'm good.
Okay.
Moose, you can go now.
Andy Cool's in the chat, president accounted for. It's been a while, sir. Happy to see you again. He said he has to do some God of War and a wedding, or I'm thinking he's speaking in past tense because he was at the wedding with Moose, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it was his sister, my cousin, who got married. Beautiful bride, beautiful wedding. Ceremony was really short. Like I'm talking 5 minutes tops. I mean, it was done, and we were all like, "Okay, let's go party." But it was good. So
the MC gets up there and goes, "Listen, we all know why we're here. Do you? Okay. Do you? Yeah. Okay. Kiss each other. Let's go."
Right.
Yeah. Good one.
Catholic weddings. I've been to
like some worst.
I know. I've been to some that are like 2.5 hours.
And you're like,
a full Catholic mass. It's 2.5 hours. You are up and down off those knee things.
Yeah,
you get those special crackers. Unless you're not Catholic, then you just gotta sit there.
Dude,
or even if you are Catholic, you can't get those unless you've been confirmed. It's like
little bits of Jesus. You only get the little bits of Jesus.
Did I ever tell you guys the story where like I was dating this one girl and we went to this Catholic wedding together and they were up getting the little crackers and stuff, and me and her sister's boyfriend husband something at the time.
This motherfucker thinks he's me. What are you doing?
We're not Catholic, so we're sitting in the back and like we brought our own Triscuits and Gatorade. We were like, you know what? They're not going to give it to us. We'll give it to ourselves, and we had a little party.
That's what she said.
I respect the fuck out of that. That's a good time. That's a good time. Like, oh no, you gotta go up and get your dried out religious wafers and your shitty red wine. Okay, I got Triscuits and Gatorade.
Yeah,
move, Jesus. No.
Well, I brought Triscuits. He bought white cheddar cheese Cheez-Its, and I was like,
"You done fucked up, son."
Yeah,
like, that's a good time.
Did you say the body of Christ before you ate each one?
The body of Christ.
I can make.
Man, they should call him Jesus, right?
And then the Rock busts in and is like, "I'm Jesus." Remember that?
God, not the Real Adventures of Jesus featuring Dwayne the Rock Johnson. We don't need to go back down.
Check out Nerds Gone Rogue episode 9 for that.
yeah.
We never brought that back.
No, we never did, and probably for good reason. But
no, that was the best episode of all time. That was the first time I think we all podcasted with Ed, around this one time, and like Ed's kind of religious. I don't know how religious he is, but he was like, "What did I get myself into? This is what bunch of crazy white people talking about The Rock playing Jesus, some kind of Netflix epic series."
Yep.
It's a good time.
Was Sean Connery in it? Because why not?
Yeah, Sean Connery was Moses. And then Nicolas Cage was Noah.
Yep.
It was a good time.
Yep. Deep NGR lore. Moose, save us.
Going deep.
Save us, Moose. Save us.
Wizard of Legend.
Parting the Red Cheese. Yes.
I've been playing Wizard of Legend on the Switch, which is a lot of fun. I highly recommend the game. I'm really not a huge fan of the Joy-Cons on the Switch. Like the right analog stick's at an awkward position for me. So I didn't want to really speak to the controls until I was able to use my Pro controller at home. Because I went up for the wedding to Pennsylvania, so I took the Switch and I was like, well, this is a good time to play Wizard of Legend, so it's fun. It's definitely a roguelike. You get like face buttons are all your powers, and then you get 2 shoulder buttons. So you get 6 powers total. 2 of them you pick up in the dungeon. You can, quote unquote, you can pick them up in the dungeon if you find them. And so if they're there, also I should say, it's not like whether you find them or not, it's if they're actually there. So it's if they're there and you find those 2 additional powers, then you can take on the boss, and it's like level, then a boss, level, boss, so you're doing like mini bosses as you work your way up to the bigger boss. It's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. I want to get more time in with it. I just, Dark Souls just dropped, which I'm playing Dark Souls Remastered. So I'm playing that more than I am Wizard of Legend. So I'm gonna take my Switch to work and play it on my lunch break this week and play more of that. Also, I've been diving into Dragon's Crown Pro, which is the PS4, remaster of Dragon's Crown from the PS3 and the PlayStation Vita. Also, what's awesome is it's cross-play, cross-save, sadly not cross-buy. So it wasn't that bad because I used the 20% off coupon that I got watching the Detroit Human trailer. Live.playstation.com is the place to go and check out their quests, because even if you don't get like a code for like 20% off, which they usually run it's pretty frequently, they'll have like avatars that are free, themes that are free, like just different kick-ass stuff. And I'm sure E3 is just going to be like insane with the stuff that they're going to be giving away. But so I've been playing Dragon's Crown, and I loved it on the Vita, but it is so much better on a bigger screen. It's so much better playing it on my larger TV and playing it with a controller. So I'm having fun with it. It's a great 2D side-scrolling beat 'em up. It's got a lot of depth to it. You've got different classes. I mean, it's just awesome. I started.
You've got cooking.
You've got cooking, which I haven't even tapped into yet.
You got side quests.
But I started out as a fighter, which is the guy. He's just got a shield and a sword.
It's a knight, yeah.
Yeah, he's like a knight. So I started out with him on the Vita, and now on the PS4, I'm playing as a barbarian, which is a female, and she just has a two-handed axe. Newsflash: I am swapping out Fallout 4 in my games challenge for Dragon's Dogma and Sphere. So I will be playing Dragon's Dogma for my video game challenge. So, but anyways, been enjoying them.
I think you're swapping out for a way longer game in Dragon's Dogma.
Oh no! No, Dragon's Dogma. Did I say Dragon's Dogma? I said Fallout.
Yes.
No,
well, you're switching Fallout for Dragon's Dogma, right?
No. Dragon's Crown. Did I not say Dragon's Crown?
You said Dragon's Dogma.
My bad. I'm swapping out.
Then you made out like a goddamn bandit.
Yes.
Dragon's Crown is not a long game.
I'm swapping out Fallout 4 for Dragon's Crown and Sphere. So
yeah, it is a long platform, but not a long game.
I swapped Dragon's Dogma in already, and we have Jeff, Jason, and I have agreed on it. If you swap a game in, it's a permanent game now. You can't swap it back out.
That makes sense.
So if I wanted to get rid of Gravity Rush and Gravity Rush 2, I can't get rid of them because I already swapped them in. So anyways, so yeah, I'm looking forward to playing and beating Dragon's Crown and Sphere, but just working on that right now. And Dark Souls. I am playing Dark Souls, and it's a mixed bag for me, really. I'm enjoying seeing where the series started, and playing Dark Souls, I could see where a lot of the stuff for Bloodborne came from, like a tremendous amount of it, and I'm enjoying that. But we'll get to it later in the topic of the show. I feel they could have done some more quality of life changes to the game. But anyways, that's what I've been playing. Jesse, what have you been playing? Did you go?
He's already talked.
Yeah. Matt, what are you doing? I'm so tired.
Matt, he did 3 podcasts today. Okay, he's worn out.
And I've drank so much beer. I might go grab another. Anyways, Matt, what have you been playing?
Go right ahead. Grab another beer. No, I've been playing a lot, actually. I finished Celeste on Switch.
Nice.
That is my favorite game of the year so far.
Okay.
Let's see. I bought a game called Sky Rogue that I heard about on Waypoint Radio. It's on Switch. It's also available on PC. I think it's $20 on both platforms. And it is like Afterburner from the 90s from the 90s arcade game. It is a roguelike, and it's fun as hell. The loop basically is you take off from an airship as a plane. You have to kill a target and then land to end the mission. Now, in this loop, there are other things around other than your target. Some of them are, just ground bases or infantry or whatever, ground guns, not necessarily infantry. Some levels have tanks. There are other planes flying around, and as you kill them, sometimes they do respawn. There are also other airships that you can blow up. So your risk is trying to go after all of this without dying before without dying before the mission's over and you land. And you just, I've gotten 5 days into it. Each time you land, it's a new day. You earn currency, and you can buy upgrades for the weapons for your loadout. Very much in the way of Rogue Legacy, you can earn access to other weapons to change your loadout before even starting. And that the access to weapons, the loadout stuff, is persistent. You earn that, you keep it. But if you upgrade it, like as you progress, if you upgrade your plane, you lose all that if you die. But it is absolutely addictive fun, and I can't believe a game like this hasn't come out sooner. I actually did a kind of a, well, I don't know how dumb this is, but I actually created like a silly like 80s rock playlist on Spotify while I was playing my Switch at work, and I was just playing that as sort of like my soundtrack to Skyrogue. It's a good time. I mean, you have the obligatory danger zone because you kind of have to, even though I friggin' hate Top Gun. But like, you know, it's good to get some power metal in there, some power ballads too. And you know, some of that 80s Chinese indie rock as well. But Skyrogue is a good time. Get it on Switch, get it on PC, whichever one you prefer. And it is a blast. The one sort of disclaimer is don't expect like super HD graphics, because it's not. It's very polygonal. It's very I think on Nintendo Pow Block I described it as something akin to like those early Virtua Fighter games in the arcade, except a bit more polished, but it's not like super HD. It actually looks kind of like a low grade 90s flight sim. But
what about like Star Fox?
It looks better than Star Fox 64.
Okay. But it's like kind of like that, where it's kind of the ships are like that in a sense.
Yeah, I mean they resemble like modern planes. Like there's
Okay.
definitely one that is that's definitely modeled after like an F-16.
Okay.
There's one that's definitely modeled after a Concorde. There's one that's definitely modeled after a stealth bomber. There's all of that, but it's a good time. Also, I have dipped into the Dark Souls remastered. Like for me, it's nice. I agree with Moose's quality of life stuff, but at the same time, I didn't expect it. I knew what that game was, and I knew very much what I was getting into, and also like I'm not going to sit here and say like I feel like I'm a god at that game, but I'm definitely better than I was, having played a whole bunch of Souls games in the interim.
Oh, I agree with you. I feel I'm way better at it than I would have been had not played Bloodborne.
Like I mean,
so
you know, when you and I played Neo, and you're just like, dude, I can't fucking help you.
You're like flipping over people, and it's like there's water right there.
Well, no, I flipped over somebody into water like twice, and it was a bad time. But
why am I here? I'm just wasting your summoning cups. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah. But it's one of those things that like, as someone who played the game originally, I'm like, okay, I see where things could have gone, and I see how they could do it to catch it up to now. But also, like that game is kind of a sweet spot of difficulty and ease. I do think the whole password summoning thing is worth it. Like, that is the right move, rather than saying, okay, well, let's just remake Dark Souls 1 and the Dark Souls 3 engine. I feel like at that point you lose some preservation. And then the last thing is I'm still playing Helldivers, and I'm still liking Helldivers. Weird. Well, I since we last spoke, I've not. I don't think I've played with you. Have I?
Last time we played was Friday.
Did we
remember? No? Or Thursday. It was Thursday night because Dark Souls
out
and you were going to bed, and I'm like, I'm staying up for this.
then like, yeah, we played, and I'm just like, dude, I gotta go.
You're like, I'm dead tired. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Man. I'll talk to you
I'm
later.
not gonna be of any use to you here.
So.
But Helldivers is still fun. It's fun enough that I actually started reaching out to the developer and say, hey, I know this game's like 3 years old, but I still love it, and I would like to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
If you're interested, please reach out.
Yeah.
Sadly, Arrowhead has not responded, but whatever. I do want to say, going to their website, I love the quote that they have on their website. A game for everyone is a game for no one. That is a good goddamn quote.
Yeah. I love it.
Because if you're gonna make something that is boilerplate and boring, so everyone will like it, no one will like it. But they make super weird games, and I didn't realize they were published by Paradox, who also published Crusader Kings. So more respect for that publisher as well as Arrowhead. And I would love to know what they are working on. Really would.
It's probably a Helldiver sequel.
Hopefully.
It's got to be, unless they're it's got to be some twin stick shooter-ish or whatever.
And then I started playing Wizard of Legend on Switch, but I actually decided it was after I'd played like Skyrogue, and I'm like, I want to go back to Skyrogue. So I can't really say I've played it. I started it up though, and I did do Reba, and I played some more Adventure Pals, and that game is fun.
So you're going back to Skyrim?
Huh?
You're going back to Skyrim? You said?
No, Skyrogue.
Oh, Skyrogue. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I want to pick up that game eventually. The what's it called? She just said the animal one.
Adventure Pals.
Yeah, Adventure Pals.
Yeah. Dude, that game is.
That looks so fun.
I don't see how it cannot eventually be a Switch game. Like, there's no way that it can't show up on the Switch.
That could totally be a Switch. I mean, honestly, that
would be.
That should be a Switch game.
Yeah, it's built for that would be a perfect Switch game.
Yeah, I mean the only from our conversation earlier today with a developer, the only reason I could see it not being a Switch game is just them not getting a dev kit. Because we talked to the guys that did Cat Quest about a Vita version, and they were like, we didn't get a Vita development kit. So they're like, we wanted to put it on Vita, but there was, we didn't get it in time, so it was something that we couldn't do. And that was the same with the Xbox version. They were saying how they wanted to put it out on all consoles, but they couldn't get a development kit for the Xbox, and they were just like, the time frame to get the kit and be able to do the games, they were just like, we need to get this out, and so they had to forego. But there is a Windows version, so they had to forego an Xbox version. So I just thought that was pretty interesting. So that might be why, hopefully it comes to Switch. Adventure Pals is awesome. And it would be cool. Like, it seems like the buttons are pretty simple where you could just break the Joy-Cons off and, pop the added part on and be able to play 2-player with it. Like, that would be awesome. So I could see it happening, by the end of the year. They announce it at the end of the year for next year. But yeah, I highly recommend it. I'm loving what I've played of it. So and Matt's done co-op, so that's a good stamp of approval.
Co-op is a good old time.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun.
I mean, you have a giraffe. Now, when you go to float, it tilts its head back and spins its tongue like a helicopter. So, I mean, come on, like, how's that not fun? Like, it's awesome. He's just hanging out in your backpack, like, let's do this, brother. I'm here for you.
Player 2's looks like a unicorn. It's great.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Nice.
Okay, so now that we're done talking about what we played, I want to, before we go into the topic, and our topic, Moose, is remasters versus remakes, and
I was just gonna remasters, remakes, expectations. Like when does it cross the line? What's going on with that? So that's my question.
Before we get there, I was on Nintendo Pal Block with Jesse and Corey yesterday. We recorded yesterday.
Goddamn.
And there was a I've been on Platinum twice. You stop, right?
I know.
I also did your spoiler cast. So calm down.
Just massive.
Put the dick measuring stick back where it needs to be.
Put your magnifying glass back, Moose.
Yeah. Good call. But I there was a news story that we were supposed to talk about and didn't. And I'm curious about it. Is Wonderful 101 coming to Switch?
There's been a lot of rumblings about it coming to Switch. They've since probably December, Platinum has tweeted out images of Wonderful 101. No, probably since before Bayonetta 2 and 3 were announced for Switch. They've been tweeting out images of like pretty much all their properties that aren't like owned by other companies, like Wonderful 101 and Bayonetta, were all, like they've tweeted out images of them playing Switches, and someone talked to them about Bayonetta 2, its success on Switch because it's outsold the Wii U version already, and them bringing their older games to Switch or whatnot, and they said they want to bring Wonderful 101 to Switch, and they've tweeted out pictures of the characters of Wonderful 101 playing Switch multiple times in the last couple of months. So
then it must be in the works.
It's got to be.
You can't set up people for disappointment like that.
My only thing is like, if they're gonna do it, they need to do it now, because Pikmin 4 is also in the works for Switch. In those games, though they're not like the same type of game, their mechanics are similar. And so, like, I would think they would have wanted to do that early, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But if they get it in, if they were, well, I don't know if they would, but if they were to somehow get it done this year, because I don't think we're going to see Pikmin 4 until next year anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I want a new Pikmin game, and it was in development for Wii U for a long time, to be honest with you. So, like, I wonder if it's just one of those games that they've held over from Wii U and are like, they're Nintendo, so they can just be like, oh, we have an open slot here, we'll just throw Pikmin in this slot or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, Pikmin is probably my favorite like franchise that Nintendo has next to Zelda, but I mean, if we got it this year, I'd love it, but yeah, I mean, if they hold it till next year, I would be fine with that too,
Yeah, I still think Pikmin's coming in the spring. Like, that would be such a mistake to put that game out in the fall. Like, I think, for me, Yoshi, Animal Crossing, and Pikmin would be a great spring lineup for them. But, and then Wonderful 101, I would put that. I could see them trying to put that out in like September, early September, maybe late August. I don't know. I could really see them bringing Wonderful 101 to Switch, because that game was interesting. Had a lot of cool.
Wonderful 101?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wonderful 101 was actually one of the secret best games on the Wii U.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, and I know Phillips and I talk about how Captain Toad is like the secret best Wii U game.
Yeah. Well, now you can play it on Switch and 3DS.
Wonderful 101 is definitely in that camp. You can't play it on Switch yet. You will in like
no. Well, I mean, it's coming.
But I will. I mean, I will play that. There's actually a really good guide to games on Captain Toad done by Danielle Riendo from Waypoint Radio. It's a really good video. It's a really good discussion about that game, considering it's a platformer where you don't jump.
Yeah.
Plus,
good
like
game. Captain Toad.
I love how you start each level with like him going, "Yeah, let's go on an adventure." It's so good.
Yeah, yeah. Man, Captain Toad's so good. My thing though with Captain Toad is, how are they gonna? Because a lot of the level, not a lot, but there's a handful of levels that require both the touchscreen and the TV. I wonder how they're gonna do that.
I trust them.
Oh yeah, I trust them too. But I'm just saying, I wonder. Is that Nintendo magic?
As long as
they're gonna wave their uncircumcised Waluigi dick at them and be like,
"Whoa, whoa!"
You didn't see that? You didn't see that story?
Whoa, bruh!
You didn't see that story?
What story?
It was like
I'm sorry. I don't need to look at phalluses of the Mario universe. I really don't need that. What is your life? You have a child coming, Corey, and this is what you're putting into the world?
Yep.
I mean, all right, you do you.
No regrets. Hashtag no regrets.
Hello, mofo.
There was a story that was like Nintendo confirms Waluigi is uncircumcised for some reason.
Why did they feel
Who was asking
to confirm that?
Who was asking?
Like who? Who was like, man, I wonder, man, that's a big package he's got there. What's going on? You know?
You know how people are though with stuff like that. You know, like when you get.
Well, didn't the internet go crazy that Mario did not have nipples or something like that?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's like a humanoid, so he should have nipples, and I don't understand why Nintendo can't just put nipples on a guy.
And see, now that's he's a cartoon character,
right? Like fucking man up.
That's like that means we have to show Donald Duck walking around with.
He's got no fucking pants on. He's got no pants on. Mickey Mouse has pants on, but no fucking shirt. Goofy, God knows what the fuck's going on with Goofy. Who's the dog? Because Goofy's like
Goofy's
Mickey
a dog,
Mouse, and then Pluto's a dog.
What is a dog? Pluto? Does that mean like Goofy's like the intelligent version of that species? Like, if so, it's pretty cool to
a good crotch.
It's pretty cruel to keep.
Jesus, Andy, you're not helping us here, but you are helping us, but it's not helping.
I'm just saying.
Sorry.
If Pluto has something special about him, it's pretty cruel to keep him in a cage and tied up.
I don't think what
when Goofy can walk around.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's on all fours, and it's like I don't know what's going on. I'm just gonna leave now.
No. I'm
out.
Great. We are.
By the way, the Warriors are winning by 13 now.
Are you serious?
Yep. Something like that. 11, 13. I don't know. It's commercial now.
Oh, fuck. The Rockets just got tired and stopped scoring. So the Wonderful 101 led us to Waluigi penis and weird
the difference between Disney dogs.
Oh, jeez. I don't have enough breadcrumbs to get home now, and I'm sitting in my living room. I am that lost right now. Okay, so remakes versus remasters. Actually, the Captain Toad stuff actually ties into this really well because of you were questioning like there are a couple of levels that require good use of, or well, they make good use of the touchscreen and TV. And what ties us into the remakes remaster discussion is as long as they don't start eliminating content because it doesn't fit, like solve the problem, don't run from it.
Yeah. I mean, they did confirm they're adding levels, but taking levels out just because they can't do it and putting new levels in, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I
mean, I feel like if Rayman Legends could come to all systems despite being made for that Wii U first, there's a way. So Moose,
yes.
I want you to start this topic off since it is yours.
Okay.
So remakes, remasters, expectations, where's the line? Go.
I think so. Like remasters, I think is a light touching of a game. So like Dark Souls is like the epitome of, well, not even, because there's some games where it's just like a port, and they want to call that a remaster, and I don't think that is. I feel like when you look at Dark Souls, there's a lot of things that they could have improved upon for quality of life as far as the gamer's interaction with the game goes. So we were talking about it, me and my cousin, Christian. He's probably going to platinum it way before I even do. He's like he's invading people and just destroying people's lives. Crushing dreams, making people cry. And I'm like, I love you for that, buddy. Anyways, so we're like sitting there and I'm like, I don't understand how you can't just hit circle or hold circle to slide down a ladder or climb up a ladder faster. And he's like, no, dude, you just hold down and then you double tap circle. And I'm like, okay, it's not working. And then we were in a party with Dan Phillips and his friend Brian. I don't know his friend's last name. And Dan was helping me with some stuff, and his friend was just like, no, you just double tap circle. So you're at the top of the ladder and you double tap circle and you'll slide down. I'm like, why? Like, that's not detrimental to the game. Like, why can't you just make it like Dark Souls 3 and just be like, circle makes you get down the ladder faster? I'm just like, a lot of the problems that I'm having with Dark Souls is I will admit I am playing Dark Souls like I'm playing Dark Souls 3. And that's the problem. And I feel there's some stuff like I'm learning about humanity, which I'm liking, which I feel is a lot like Insight. So that's where Bloodborne got its insight, which is cool. I'm enjoying the difficulty of the game. I'm enjoying, summoning. You have to be human to be able to summon somebody in to help you, which is cool because it's like, do I burn this humanity and have someone help me? And if they don't help me, then I lose the humanity, So it's like that risk reward. But I just feel there were like some things that they could have improved. Also on PS4, I'm sure it's on Xbox. It's probably like the back menu or something. But like, you have like your personal effects. So like Bloodborne, you have your personal effects. You'll hit the right side of the touchpad, and it'll pull up some items, and you could put your soapstone in there, which allows you to put your summons down for somebody. You could put in there your message your stone, which allows you to write messages. You could put your stone in there that cancels messages. So you can get all this stuff that doesn't need to be in your quick menu, which is the down button on your controller pad. You could put that all somewhere where you don't have to go through your fucking inventory to look for it. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it's almost to the point I feel where they could have been like, all right, we're making two versions of the game, and you get one version of the game and you get the two cycles. You can play Dark Souls OG way, or you can play it with some Dark Souls 3 or Dark Souls 2 perks. And I understand what they're trying to like. I've watched so many videos where they're like, From Software is just freaking shitting down our throats as far as it being a remake. Now on PS4, I have no problem on PS4 because I've never played Dark Souls, but a lot of people are complaining about it on PC because they've removed the old school Dark Souls, which had all the mods, so you can only play the remaster. So I just feel like they didn't do a whole heck of a lot for the remaster. They just kind of like, here's some, we're gonna put a new coat of paint on it, maybe upgrade some things, and then here it is, So, and then remakes. Like you look at Shadow of the Colossus, which is a complete remake of that game. And so it's like, where do you draw the line on what your expectations should be? And I mean, obviously, when I look at new games, I'm like, I try and have as low as expectations as possible. But as I was playing Dark Souls, my expectations from playing Dark Souls 3 kind of crept into my gameplay. And so it kind of like, I don't want to say ruined it, but it was like hitboxes. Oh my God, hitboxes. Like, you're running up to a dude that's going to throw a firebomb, and he hits, like, you're running, and he hits a ledge that's right in front of you with the firebomb, but you're nowhere near the fire, and you take damage. And it's like, what are you talking about? Why did I take damage? I'm nowhere fucking near the firebomb, And it just little things like that are annoying where they could have fixed that. And so I feel if they're ever going to release another Dark Souls game, they need to clean that shit up. Like they need to do something. Like it's horrible. So anyways.
So would you say that you would have rather maybe had a remake of it instead of a remaster? Because I feel like maybe
Yes.
like the reason that it didn't get necessarily improved in a lot of ways that you'd want was because it just is a remaster.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just, hey, here's our game, 4K, 60 frames per second on the PlayStation 4 Pro, and Xbox One X is 4K, 60 frames per second, which is fine. I hear they fixed Blighttown. I never experienced Blighttown, so I'm not going to know that from a ham sandwich. My cousin has said that it is actually improved.
Blighttown.
No, I'm just
Could
saying.
you eat all of Blighttown? Could you eat Blighttown? Maybe that's a big ham sandwich.
I'm pretty sure it'd be
Do you eat your
poisonous.
Blighttown with mustard or?
My cousin's played it, and he's like, yeah, it's definitely better. Like Blighttown is a lot better in the remaster, and so I feel I may not be playing the best version of the game because I'm not on PC, but I'm playing the best version of the game that I can get on console, and that's where I'm at. Like I don't have a PC to play, the remaster with all the mods and all that stuff. So it's just, I agree with you, Jesse. I think I would appreciate more a remake than a remaster. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I like to think I'm not the type of gamer that's like, that's not the way that I played it when I played it. If it was a game that they remade that I played, like when they released the remakes of Final Fantasy VII, like I'm fine with that. You know what? Because I can go back and I can play Final Fantasy VII, no issue. You know what I mean? Like you can go back and play Dark Souls the way it was, no issue. And I feel like it's like, okay, you take a look at the game as a developer and you're like, we've done Dark Souls 2, Bloodborne, and Dark Souls 3. Here's everything that we can improve in the game. Why don't we just do it? And if people don't like it, tough luck. People are still going to buy the game anyways, and I know nobody not that has not been in the Dark Souls series is buying that game, as far as I can tell. Because like everybody knows what they're doing, they know where they're going. Everybody I summon is like, they're not like trying to follow me around. They're just running around doing whatever. They're like, hey, you need to do this, and you do this. Obviously, they're not talking to me because we're not in a party chat, but you just follow them, and they already know what's going on. And so, I don't know. I'm just a little disappointed with it, I guess. But that's just me. So,
Well,
rant over, I guess.
see, now remakes versus remasters, it really comes in to play when you want to. If preservation is your thing, you do a remaster. Like,
Yes.
I feel like the HD port of Shadow of the Colossus and Ico that came out on PS3. They're just ports, because I don't really feel like I didn't feel like they did anything special to either of those games because they felt just as clunky. Now, Shadow of the Colossus on PS4 still feels just as clunky, but they overhauled the graphics for 4K HD, things like that.
Yeah.
And I also don't feel like that's a remake because they're not changing the game.
Yeah.
Now, Final Fantasy VII,
That'll be a remake.
That's a remake because they are cutting the game up in episodes, and
They're
they're
also
releasing
changing the combat, and they're also changing the combat.
They're releasing it that way, and then there's been talk of them changing the combat and updating it to more of a Final Fantasy 15 style. And
Which that's what the demo showed when they did the gameplay trailer. So, but
yes,
anyways,
but be that as it may,
yeah.
I think that does a greater disservice to Final Fantasy, especially the people that are the die-hardest of the die-hard, like the John Martins of the world. I know Ray prefers 6 to 7, but like the Ray Osorios of the world, the Daniel Freitas's of the world.
Yeah, but
Now, those people are going to see this, and they are going to have gripes. Now, I'll be real with you, Moose. When when I knew Dark Souls Remaster was coming, I saw your excitement. I had some trepidation, but I wasn't about to be like, look, man, this is not good. This is not going to be what you think. It's not going to be Dark Souls 3 easy. Like, and I watched the Giant Bomb quick look of the remaster of Dark Souls, and like Brad Shoemaker was 100% correct. Those games have gotten easier, not because not because From Software changed anything, but because the mechanics have kind of just seeped their way into gaming in a way that they've organically done that. And you're exposed to it. Dark Souls 1, when you first come to it, it is a different style of thing than you're used to. Because like at that time you had Darksiders. You had other things that were permeating the RPG space in a way that Dark Souls just hadn't yet. So like me playing it now, it feels like Dark Souls did on PS3, and I don't have a problem with that. I like the fact that parrying is still is easy again, because it is not easy in 2. It is the hardest in 2. It is the second hardest in 3. It is the most easy in Bloodborne, second most easy in Demon Souls, and it's the right kind of easy in Dark Souls 1. I also like that you're not fast traveling everywhere, because I like the fact that you had to earn that ability, and you could only go to certain places. You couldn't go everywhere. But once you beat a certain boss, you get an item that lets you fast travel, and you can only go to like the main hub bonfires. I'm happier about that than like
Dark Souls 3, where you can go everywhere and
you can go everywhere at any time. And I feel like the way that Dark Souls 2, 3, and Bloodborne are designed, that's necessary. I think Dark Souls is designed to an appropriate level where you need to do some traveling. And that travel is spaced out really well. And it's not like you have to fight a mini boss every time you walk into a new area, and I think that's sort of it's probably more of a hindsight observation, but like my main crux of my remasters versus remake is coming from the music world. Things get remastered all the time. Like the Velvet Underground just finished doing their entire catalog up to their self-titled third album, and then like Fleetwood Mac is going through a remaster campaign. But remasters in the music industry tend to be like we're going to remaster it from the original tapes and put a bunch of bonus stuff on there that either you've probably heard or you haven't heard. I don't think games has that yet, because I still think they're trying to figure out how to actually do it. Does remastering preserve music? It can, but I think more often than not, it's a cash grab for the people who own the rights, and good on them, especially if it sells. I feel like there should be like in the early 20th century, there were these people that went after like folk songs and like old blues musicians, and they went to see if their music was worth preserving, and they would record them, like the Library of Congress recordings, like, and the American Folkways stuff. That's super important to music today, because a lot of that doesn't exist anywhere else. And I think like games need something like that, where we could say, hey, this is where we were. And that's why I like the Dark Souls remaster, because it says this is where this series was here. The only thing we've changed is we know that summoning was kind of busted in the original it had a lot of problems without dedicated servers. And it's funny, my first time trying to summon someone, I got summoning failed 5 times, and I'm like, oh, guess what? It's fucking Dark Souls.
Yeah, right, yeah.
and you know, and the fact that you can,
and then you get invaded.
and then you get invaded, and all of a sudden your day just got a lot worse. But then, like, allowing the way to play with your friends, the way that they came up with later on, I feel like that's a worthwhile addition that does not detract from the original experience. It adds a little bit, but it doesn't change it. So I'm okay with that. But like, look at Wind Waker HD on Wii U. That's a really good remake because that game was fucking plodding on GameCube. It took a long time to get places, and they found ways to just sort of circle. They didn't really change it, but you could get from one end to the other relatively easier. And I believe Corey and Jesse can probably back me up on that. I don't know what happened with Twilight Princess HD because I wasn't stupid. I didn't want to go back.
They fixed a lot of issues. Well, they fixed some issues where there was like a bug collecting mini game where there was a couple things that were kind of buggy, I guess. Where
really, dude?
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. It just happened.
You totally meant to do that.
No, I stopped myself because I thought it as soon as I was about to say buggy, so I stopped myself. But and then there was some collectible in the game where there'd be like 16 of them, but you couldn't get them if you did certain things first. And so they cut that collectible down to 12, and you could find all of them whenever you wanted. And then they had remodeled Link and some of the other major characters. They remodeled some of them and cleaned them up a little bit, and then after that, it was basically your typical remaster. It wasn't a Wind Waker style remake where they redid everything. It was more of a, hey, let's just up-res these textures, clean up the ones that don't look great, and fix some of the issues and send it out. So, I don't know. I still think Twilight Princess is a better game than most people give it credit for, although it does have a lot of pacing issues in between the dungeons. But
I agree with that.
And then that first like 2 hours, well, if you know what you're doing, it's just a little bit over an hour. But like, you know, for people who don't know what they're doing, it could take up to 3 hours to get through that first section, and it's like, okay, that's dumb. But other than that, I think it still has some of the better dungeons in like traditional Zelda game. So, but yeah, Twilight Princess. I'm still shocked they haven't brought that over to Switch yet. Just for the simple fact that Wolf Link amiibo works for Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, especially if you need to have it upgraded to get the full thing.
Yeah,
you know they kind of dropped the ball on that one a little bit, I think.
Yeah. So I don't know. I still think we're gonna see Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and Skyward Sword HD on Switch at some point, but
I agree. Maybe they'll do a Zelda All Stars, and that'll be it.
No, because they can make more money selling them individually, and then people will complain, and then people will buy them because that's a Nintendo fan.
It is
true.
I mean, yeah, people are complaining. Like people are complaining about a Switch bundle that's not even coming out here. It's only available in Japan. That it doesn't come with an AC adapter, and people are still complaining about it, even though it's not even coming out here.
Don't buy it if you don't want it. Don't buy it. What the fuck is your problem?
If you do not live in Japan, you can physically not buy this bundle. Like it doesn't even matter.
Like
people are still complaining about it.
Are they complaining because there's no AC adapter?
Yeah, because they're selling a bundle where it's just the unit. There's no dock and there's no AC adapter and no HDMI cable. It's just a Switch, and they're selling it as like, hey, you have a Switch already. Here's your second Switch if you want one. You already have a dock, you already have an AC adapter, whatever.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
But if it's your first Switch,
then you don't buy that bundle. You buy the bundle with the AC port and HDMI in it. I mean, it's not that fucking hard. It's not like
and then Nintendo does their artificial shortage bullshit where no Switches have docks right now. No Switches have AC adapters. And then it turns into just fuck you, pay me.
Well, and I think, and we touched on this on Pow Block, I think what the only reason that people are arguing is because literally the amount of money that it would cost for you to buy a dock and buy the cord, that amount of money isn't being taken off, and it's, in my opinion, not even close. So like you're not really getting that much of a discount on just buying the Switch. And for me, that would be the only reason that I could see people complaining, is just the amount that you're still paying even without those things.
Yeah, but it's still ridiculous.
But at that point, they're just telling you that we're marking up the cost on these parts.
Yeah.
But back to remakes and remasters.
Yeah, if you want, I can continue if someone else wants to go.
Well, I think it was your turn, right?
It might be, yeah.
I think it's your turn. So
like for me, very similar to the way you guys are looking at it. I do like when they do a remake or a remaster and like just add like basics to it that kind of just improve or like add without making it too different, because then I feel like there is kind of that line where if you do too much, then is it really a remaster or is it just a remake?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gotta dance that line a little bit.
Yeah, like a perfect example for me would be like I loved the remaster of Resident Evil 1 for DS. Like really the only difference in it was that they've kind of added that whole like knife thing where you use the stylus to like slash with the knife or whatever.
No, that's cool.
Really, that was the only difference like that I noticed. Otherwise, it seemed like you're basically playing Resident Evil 1. Like there really wasn't much changed about it.
So it was just tank controls and stylus.
Yeah. So they just basically they're like, well, what can we do with this mechanic that we have on our system that you can do, and having the whole touch screen and stuff. Like that game works so perfectly on that because of the whole menu, the map stuff and all that, and having two screens, it like works perfectly. But so yeah, like something like that, like in my opinion, is like a perfect way to do a remaster. Like just add just something to kind of make it feel new, but at the same time it's still the same old game. Like I think for me that would be a perfect example. And then for remakes, like I think a good remake that they did was Wild Arms. They had the Wild Arms AF or whatever it was called. Like that, it's kind of it was the same characters, but it still was a lot of fun, and the way they redid it, but still kind of somewhat kept the story. Like they did a really good job. Like for me, I don't like with the remakes. Like sometimes you get where they just do too much, and it just completely feels like a different game. And I don't think that's a good way to go about it either. You still want to keep it like very close to what you're remaking, but without making it feel like it shouldn't even be called that anymore. Like it shouldn't be called this because it really doesn't feel like that. So like for me, you've got to have a lot of things that still feel like the original, but but improve everything, and like mechanics can change, that's fine. But I think like that main story kind of needs to stay pretty close. to the original. Like if you start adding too much stuff, I don't know. I just feel like that just kind of takes away from it for me. But
yeah.
So just to put a couple titles out there for the panel. Corey, have you said your piece or not?
I mean, I think I haven't really said anything except we were talking about Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, but like,
yeah,
I think it was a bigger deal, like remasters and remakes and stuff. Were like, I think remasters in particular were a bigger deal when backwards compatibility wasn't a thing, and like that conversation started happening and people were talking about remasters versus like, okay, well now Xbox has backwards compatibility, so why would you buy a remaster when you can just pop in your 360 disc to play like Borderlands? Because like BioShock, Borderlands, Dark Souls, like all those games are backwards compatible. So why would I spend the $40 or $60 on a remaster, right? And yeah, I know I'm getting there. But for me, like I've been transferring a lot of Xbox One games to my hard drive and downloading 4K patches and everything for them because I don't know, the Xbox One seems to run faster when your hard drive isn't full. So for me, I'm like, well, I kind of want to play the best version of the game that's out there. So like and there's a lot of money involved in this too. Like, okay, if I can't really afford to spend $60 on a game that I've already bought once, so I'm just going to play the old version or whatever. But like, money aside, like for me, I would want to play the better looking kind of cleaned up versions of the games that I like. Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel are perfect examples where like it didn't really run well on PS3, or even that Vita version was like scary.
Oh, that Vita version was dog shit.
But
really was.
When the Handsome Collection came out, I remember that was like the one game that was like everybody was pointing to, like, would I buy that game again? Why would I do that? And it's like you pop it in and you're like, oh, well, this runs at a better frame rate. It runs at a higher resolution. Like they've cleaned up the controls a little bit. It just looks better. That art style looks great on a 1080p TV. And it looks good running. I hear something in my headphones. I don't know what it is.
Something,
but
not me.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, I would rather play the best version of that game that's available, even if it's an old game. Even if it's only a couple years old, like DMC. Devil May Cry is a great example where like, yeah, that game on 360 and PS3 was good, but it ran sub 720p. It ran at 30 frames a second, and then they cleaned it up, and now it looks fantastic on Xbox One and PS4. Like that game looks great, and I still waiting on a sequel to that game, but it'll never come because it seems like everybody wants Devil May Cry 5 now. But
I mean,
I don't know.
That's said for Sleeping Dogs,
Yeah,
when they did the enhanced versions for the new console, with the Tomb Raider definitive, the definitive edition remaster.
Yeah, and then
and you look at it, you can actually tell that does look a lot.
Yeah,
better. They do the comparison videos on that, and
yeah, I was going to bring that up because that kind of lies in that gray area where like, all the character models were redone for the new version, and like. Obviously, Lara's character model looks completely different, and like the hair physics, man, can't get that hair physics on 360. You gotta
buy that Xbox One.
I know,
that PS4.
but that's like better than a remaster, but not quite a remake.
Yeah,
so like, I don't know.
It's great. It's gray areas, and so it's almost like I was saying, like you just need to just cut back your expectations and really know what you're getting into. And I feel, my cousin Andy was in the chat and he said, here was my thing on remakes or remasters. It's mostly about transparency and honesty between company and consumer. It's also about leaving the lesser annoying bugs in the remaster to keep the integrity.
Well, then,
I don't agree with that. I think, they need to, you can fix, if you could fix something, like fix it. If it's a bug, fix it. If it's a mechanic that's vital to the game, then kind of keep it. Matt, go ahead. You're raising your hand. Thank you for raising your hand. Anyways, go ahead.
Demon Souls. Blue Point remasters it, let's say.
I think they're going to just completely remake it.
There is a duplication glitch where you could just duplicate anything you want anytime in the game from moment 1 to the end. From Software went on record saying they were not going to patch it because people went to the trouble, figured it out. They said, you know what? Use it. It's in the game. Use it.
Well, yeah.
What's your opinion there?
Mm-hmm.
What's your opinion there?
See, now that's a fine line. It's where the developer themselves says we're not going to fix it. So, I mean, if Blue Point gets rid of it, I mean that's where From Software is saying, okay, you guys can take our game and you're remaking our game, and here's what you can change, here's what you can't change, and I'm sure that's probably on there. Like, we want to keep it you're remaking our game, but we want to keep it authentic. They probably keep that glitch. Like if you look at same example or another example falls in the same line, Skyrim. So like it's not necessarily a glitch. You're just exploiting the system of the game. Like you can go out there and you can boost your magic, all your magic enchants on all your gear, and go out there and just soul tap a dead animal, countless. And the casting of soul tap raises your experience. And so you get points for raising your levels of I think it's destruction is soul tap. So you're raising destruction. You raise it all the way to the top. Well, then you just reset it back to 15. And then you just keep going and going and going. You can get endless levels. I think it was like later in the 360 and PS3 version where it might have been after the DLC where they added a patch where levels, like there was no level cap anymore. You could pretty much level endlessly. And so, they didn't fix that for the PS4 and the Xbox One remake. As far as I can tell, I can still use the exploit on the PS4. In fact, I'll tell you, I do use it because I've played through this game. Playing on the PS4 for the Platinum was the 4th time I played the game, and I'm like, I don't want to sit here and play this game for I love this game, but I don't need to play it for 6 months straight like I did when I first played it on 360. Like I'm fine with cheating the time a little bit and still having fun with it. So I see that's a bug where it's like, if it's in the game and the developer says leave it in the game, or they left it in the game, leave it in the game. But if it's a bug where it's like, like this weapon does, yeah, like glitches. I mean, let's be honest. I should say that Bethesda is horrible to bring up as an example because, I mean, they won't even take the time to fix their games. People have patched their games like literally days after they've come out, and they won't even use those patches like in their game. They're still releasing the same shitty fucking Skyrim version. It's still coming out on Switch, and it's
all those mods that made the game look better. They certainly took notes off that.
I mean, it's horrible. So it's just Bethesda's just lazy. Bethesda's fucking lazy. But I'll still buy Elder Scrolls 6. I'll still buy it. I'll still fucking buy it. Because I'm a glutton for punishment. But I understand your point. You do have a good point. Like, where do you draw the line on what bugs do you fix and what bugs do you leave in? And it's
right.
I feel if it's extremely detrimental to the experience of the original game, then don't fix the bug. Leave the bug in. You know what I mean? Yeah. If like that bug you were talking about, the duplication bug, that was in there, and From Software's like, hey, you found this bug, use it. We're not going to patch it.
Yeah,
good to go. But if it's a bug like with Skyrim, where you move a freaking teacup and all of a sudden you can't, an NPC won't talk to you and you can't continue the main quest line.
All of a sudden you can't access large swaths of the map because doors are shut.
Right. Or you can't even, like I was saying, like move the quest line, the main quest line forward. That's a problem. You know what I'm saying? So there is a fine line when you're looking at the bugs.
But see, like I know that there are some bugs that kind of become features, and like anybody that's even a moderate trophy hunter has found games that have exploits that you could just use to get trophies really fast. And they find ways to get a trophy, but then that way that you can kind of fudge the system a little bit. It's not even a glitch, like the Witness, that final puzzle. Like you could basically shut off your PS4, like, see the puzzle, take a picture, shut off your PS4, come in, you're right back at that puzzle after you've solved it, and hope you're right. They patched all that out, so you have to go into that puzzle and you have to go through all of it beginning to end in one sitting. The timer does not stop, and if you shut off your PS4 in the middle of it, you go back to the beginning. You will start back up, and part of me agrees with that, part of me doesn't, but
yeah, well, I mean,
I also recognize that it requires some get good,
right?
Like figure out the puzzles. Like, and if you're like me and you stopped playing The Witness at your final trophy and then didn't go back to it for a year and a half, you have to get good again. So.
Are you ever going to platinum it? You will?
Oh, probably not. Probably not. Like, I love that game. I think that game's really cool. It was one of my favorite games of that year, and but that last puzzle, like, I don't want to go through the game again. At least not at this point. Maybe someday. I don't know.
Yeah, talking exploits, it reminds me of playing Breath of the Wild. You had the one dungeon where you had to try to move that ball through the
maze.
Or what? Yeah, the maze. And I just turned my controller completely upside down and just let it roll off and bump it in. I just said, "Screw this shit."
Yeah,
that was hilarious.
Yeah, I didn't even find out about that exploit till after I did it, and I'm just like, huh. I actually did it. And
is that the one where you have to like lift the ramp right at the right time so the ball jumps up?
Yeah. Yeah, and I just turned the controller upside down and just turned the whole thing into a ramp and just let it roll down and just flip it into where it needed to go.
Yeah, instead of doing the maze. Yeah, no, I did that one too. My thing was, I was trying to do
that's a good strategy. I wish I would have figured that out because I was on that fucking thing.
I was trying to do that exploit with my Switch, with not a controller, like my actual Switch. So like I'm sitting there like trying to, I'm like, this is not working, and so it was bad, but I eventually got it over there. But it's pretty funny,
People there jumping like, stop playing your Switch at work.
Yeah, they're like, don't have fun, Brian. No fun. But, yeah. So I don't know. I just wanted to have a topic speaking about remasters versus remakes. I mean, Jesse, you've played. Did you play most of the Halo games? I mean, what did you feel about the Master Chief Collection? Because I mean, that's pretty extensive as far as like making it look a lot better.
Yeah.
I don't know what it did to like play better. Like, I mean, I'm sure they had issues with it running, but
I was actually, after I had kind of put in my piece, I thought about, I'm like, oh crap, why didn't I bring like that? That's a really good example too, because I feel like they kept it true. Like it's kind of very similar to like, oh, Matt, you were talking about the remake of Dark Souls, where like it still isn't the, like, you know, comparing it to now. I mean, like when those original Halo games came out, they were like phenomenal, and like it was like just such a great game at that time. And they did a really good job, I feel like, of preserving it, and it still feels kind of clunky the way it did. But, you know, when that came out, we didn't know anything. You didn't know any better, or like, so, I mean, yeah, it's like, it's a bummer in that way if you try to compare it to the newer ones. But like, in my opinion, if it's a perfect remaster, like, you should be able to, like, that game, have it where you can literally flip in between the graphics of the original and the remake, and it's literally shot for shot the same game. Like that's one thing that I love about those games, that you can literally flip it back and forth, and it's still the same game. It's just you get to see how much better, everything, the textures and stuff are. So yeah, like those games, I feel like they did a really good job of redoing them.
Because Halo 1 and only 1 and 2 were on the Xbox, the original Xbox.
Yeah.
So those were huge improvements. Whereas in Halo 3, and they didn't remaster 4, right? It was just 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
If I'm correct.
Well, they up-res 4 and they made it run at 60 frames. All of them went from 30 to 60 frames.
Okay. So was it part of the collection though? 4 was part of the collection?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, 3 and 4 weren't technically remasters like 1 and 2. Like 1 was the Halo 1 was the 10th anniversary edition they released for Halo, or for Xbox 360, where you could switch between the old and new graphics. And then they did the same thing for Halo 2, but that was like, they redid cutscenes, they redid the music. That was a total like remake. That was definitely the reason why you bought the Master Chief Collection, was the remaster of Halo 2. But that gets tricky too, because they didn't change any of the gameplay mechanics. They just gave it a fresh set of graphics and like redid the cutscenes. But you could still go back and watch the original cutscenes. It's weird. That also floats in that gray area, kind of where Tomb Raider rests in my mind. But then, Halo 3 and 4, they up-resed all the assets and made it run at 60 frames instead of 30. So, which I guess is kind of a...
Well, see, I feel like with what you're talking about with Halo 2, I mean, I think the remaster remake conversation really... What needs to take place as a third thing is what game specifically is being discussed, because like in the emulation community, like there's a big there are a lot of people who get down to super granular details that you don't think about, that none of us really think about on a day-to-day basis. Like they're worried about latency on CRT TVs versus now. I mean, I don't know what the relation is myself, but like those are problems they have to solve.
Yeah.
And if let's say Nintendo's going to remake Super Mario Brothers 1, like I think they should just, instead of doing something dumb like putting Super Mario Brothers 1 in the new Super Mario Brothers graphics, like they should just get Super Mario Brothers Run to run perfectly now, because there's really no way to do that, and I don't think the NES Classic is a 100% perfect thing. I've not done any research. I haven't played it. But my guess is the people who are operating on NT Minis or Super NT Minis have some gripes about the NES Classic mods of those games, or the NES Classic versions of those games.
Yeah.
Well, and I feel like a lot of the times, like certain things just don't need to be I feel like with the original Mario, like there's not really any reason for that to be made into newer graphic. I don't know. It's
I was really just pulling an example out.
I feel it would be cool if Nintendo's going to remaster Super Mario Brothers. What were they trying to do at that time that they couldn't do? For that game, and maybe maybe have not a full remaster, or kind of like a Master Chief Collection thing, where you can say, okay, here's the game in the original graphics, and then this is the game, the version that we really wanted to put out, but we had to make huge cuts because of technology, barriers. You know what I'm saying? I think that would be cool, because I think personally that's why I love the retro indie games that are coming out now, because you're like seeing like kick-ass, really cool sprite-based games. You're seeing 8-bit versions like Celeste. And then what is it? Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon just came out. I played a little bit of that. Pick that up. That's pretty cool. And so you're seeing these games that have these older graphics, but they could do so much more with them. And like Chasm will be on that list, and so will Death
Shovel Knight.
Shovel Knight,
example.
Shovel Knight.
Octopath Traveler be on that? I mean, because Octopath Traveler in a way is like what if they had massive game? If they could have like massive amounts of memory to make a game during that time,
right? And that's coming out July, August? I think July
13th.
July. Okay.
Same day as Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
It's gonna bury it. But anyways, I'm sorry. No one gives a fuck about Toad, Captain Toad. People are gonna buy Octopath over Captain Toad any day of the week.
I'm going to buy both, so it doesn't matter.
I will just disagree. I'm not going to start this fight with you because it's pointless.
Right? No. That's just my personal opinion. But I think it would be cool. Like now that Nintendo's got the Switch and they got everybody's attention. If you're not going to do the Virtual Console, like bring some games to the Switch, like some classic games, and just say, hey, here's a way where we can meet in the middle. We can give you something new to where you feel you're going to get your money's worth, but here's a little bit of that old nostalgia. And I'll be honest, I think Nintendo's one of the only companies that can do that will be able to pull that off. To be able to say,
hey, pulled it off twice on Wii U.
Right. So
NES Remix.
Right. So here's Super Mario 1 all the way up, just do all the 8 and 16-bit ones. Here's the 8-bit and 16-bit games all together. Here it is in old style, and then if you want to flip a switch, you can play it in the way that we really, Miyamoto really wanted to happen. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think as a Switch owner, I still haven't bought into like buying anything. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid yet. I like my Switch. I'm looking at some games for my Switch. I enjoyed Breath of the Wild. I still want to get Mario. Indies are slowly making their move from my PS4 to my Switch. Just, I have them on the go. But I'm just not I'm not sold on like everything they want to put out. You know what I mean? And so for me, it would just be like, okay, here's our older games. So if we're not doing Virtual Console, here's our older games with a nice fresh coat of paint. But you still get your value worth. We're going to ask you for $40 or $50, but we're not like bending you over the table. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, like, what if they were to do like with them, like they kind of did with the N++? I don't know a whole lot about it, but what was there like what was it, like 4,000 levels or something? Or
yeah, it's insane.
Like, what if they were to just like, because you had the missing levels and all that kind of stuff that they used to have like for Mario. So like, what if they were to just basically do them like the original, but just have more levels and things like that they could add to it, and kind of like have like maybe some combinations of the the characters you had to go against or whatever, like, and make up something that maybe they couldn't have done before or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, I know Matt's probably sitting there thinking, well, that's Mario Maker.
Yeah. Well, I mean, basically.
Right. Which it basically is. And then that's where you're like, okay, well, here's Mario Maker 2. And here's our two different...
Mario Maker 2 better have Super Mario Brothers 2 in it.
Yeah.
Number 1 didn't? It's crazy.
No, well, Super Mario Brothers 2 is vastly different than 1. I mean, it's different on such a weird global way that creating levels and those mechanics might be a bit jarring, considering there are 3 other styles that all sort of adhere to the same rules.
Okay, so we're getting into the end of the show. It's
yes.
Time for everyone to go to bed. So we talked about remakes, remasters.
Yes.
Everybody, what remake or remaster would you really love to see? Come to the console that you play on. I'd love to see a Colony Wars remake or remaster.
Colony Wars,
Space Shooter. Colony Wars was freaking awesome. They had 3.
I don't think I know that one.
Psionics was the developer. They got closed. It's a space.
Isn't Psionics the team that did Rocket League?
No, it's not Psionics. It's like the owl. Like the owl is their logo. I'd have to look it up really to get the team.
They were the guys that made the Destruction Derby games. I think.
I think Jesse's right. So like Colony Wars came out on the PlayStation 1, and then I didn't even move to the 2 or the 3. So I'd love to see Sony dig deep in or even Wipeout. They did the Wipeout collection. I'd love to see like a new Wipeout game, or a new, something along that lines. Matt, you got anything you would like to see remastered or remade, like besides Demon Souls, so that you could actually play on a dedicated server again?
Yeah. Well, those dedicated servers made summoning super easy in Demon Souls.
Oh, I bet
it was super easy in Demon Souls. I'm thinking of things that I like that might not be what everyone else likes. I'd
throw it out there.
I'd like pro wrestling. The original NES pro wrestling. I'd like that back.
There we go. What if they redid it and put it on the Switch? That would be freaking phenomenal. You could have it on the go.
Well, the ideal way is to put it on PC, so modders can go in and add and create new wrestlers for it. That would be cool. I would take it any way. I feel like they should just make a new one of those. It'll never happen.
Yeah, I miss the arcade style wrestling games. Remember the WrestleMania game where you just basically did punching combos and stuff, and stuff would fly out.
Yeah. I'm waiting for Fire Pro to come out on consoles, because that actually looks like it gets it focuses more on grappling itself rather than turnbuckles and whatnot. But that looks like a good ass time, and the creation suite in it is rather robust. Hopefully, all that comes to consoles. Otherwise, I will gladly wait for PC to play it.
It's supposedly coming to PS4, $50.
Yeah, I know. But the original pro wrestling on NES. I'll go with that. Corey.
I don't know. I don't really know if I want anything remade or remastered. I think the closest game that comes to mind right now is Final Fantasy IX. I would like to see that kind of, and I know they kind of put the PC version on PS4 recently, but I would like to see full on kind of Final Fantasy 15-esque character models for Final Fantasy IX. Not over the top boy band leather pants style thing, but just PS4 graphics of the character models.
What else do you have left?
I know.
You're taking out all the fun stuff.
I know. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But I don't know. I would like to see Final Fantasy 9. I'm sure I'll think of something on like tomorrow. But I mean, games I would have said like 2 or 3 years ago have already been done. Like Gears of War has been remastered. Halo 4 came in the Master Chief Collection. A lot of like the retro style games, I appreciate them being how they are, staying that way. I don't know. They've tried a couple of times that failed. Like remember that really bad GoldenEye remake that Activision did?
Yeah, GoldenEye Reloaded or something.
Yeah, that was not very good. So like, I don't know. I would like if for me, if Nintendo's not bringing back Virtual Console, but they're bringing these games back in a new way, like I would like them to make the ROMs like widescreen and clean up the textures a little bit. Like, I don't really know how much work that would really take to make ROMs widescreen or whatnot, but like, you know, to play N64 and GameCube games in widescreen for the first time would be great. Kind of up-res them a little bit. I don't know. It's not like really remastering anything. It would just kind of
quality of life.
Adjust. Yeah, it'd be more like adjusting to today, what people want today instead of like, I don't know. That's just me.
I will tell you, you do need a widescreen to see ROM. What's that?
What?
Bloodborne reference went way over Matt's head.
Wrong. I'm like, is that what you're talking about right now? Like, did he just do that?
I was like, where's Matt? Matt left me hanging. I was out there on the bridge, and Matt was just like,
well, on your question, you know, sometimes snow comes down in June, sometimes sun goes around the room. No matter how much time has passed, we're saving the guest for last. Jesse.
That's right, Jesse.
What remake do you want?
There, like with Nintendo, there's so many like remasters, I guess, more so for Nintendo. Like I'd love to have like all the Pikmin games remastered.
Pikmin 2 multiplayer, am I right?
Yeah, I just like, yeah, because those games, like, they don't need to really change anything about them. They just need to be up-resed, and like everything they did in those games were perfect. You know, nothing needs to be changed. But as far as remakes go, they'd probably just be basically making a new one instead of remaking the old ones. But like the big games that I used to play on PS, like PlayStation and PS2, or like that they haven't had in a long time, is I would love for them to bring Jet Moto back, because that was like one of my like the best racing games during that time. Like I love Jet Moto and like Destruction Derby 1 and 2. I used to play those all the time too, but I think I just want them to bring Jet Moto back. Like I've been wanting that for years. Like I think the last one was on PS2.
Mm-hmm.
So they haven't made one since then. But and then like I would kind of like them to remake again the original Wild Arms, just because I still like that game, and I'd like to play it nowadays, like in the, you know. And I kind of didn't care for the art style that they did on the remake. Well, yeah, that was a remake more of. So I would actually rather them do a remaster, I guess, of that one, even like keep it more traditionally like it was, but up-res it, like have more high definition of the, you know, the 8-bit or whatever it was. And, you know, kind of do it like in the style of like Octopath Traveler, like have it in that kind of graphics, but still the same storyline. So yeah. I don't know. There's like a million games if I sat and thought about it. There's a lot. There's a lot of stuff that I used to play a lot, you know, love, and that's why I have like so many classic systems yet, because I want to go back and play a lot of that stuff. But
I mean, I got 2 updates on games that I've wanted remakes for a while. I got Windjammers this year or last year, and I got Burnout Paradise. So
yeah,
I feel like they're starting to address it in good ways.
Well, I think the problem I think is that consoles are not like PC, where you can take your game, like you can play your games anytime, no matter where the PC, what stage in life the PC is.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that they're moving in that direction, with the next console generation, backwards compatibility. I mean, Microsoft's killing it with backwards compatibility. Sony really misstepped when they bought the streaming service, and they're like, hey, we're going to do PlayStation Now. There's too much, personally, I think there's too much latency when you're dealing with something on the internet. I think they should allow you to just download the game, so it's kind of like a streaming service, but you can still download the game so you don't have lag. But yeah. I think if the PlayStation 5 and I don't know, Xbox One, 2, whatever the hell they want to call it, I don't even know what they would call it right now. It's whatever.
Probably just revert back to just Xbox.
That would be hilarious if they did Xbox and it'd go full circle. But yeah.
I mean, that's the acronym for Xbox One X.
Yeah.
Right? Xbox.
Yeah. Xbox. But anyways, it would be awesome if they came out and said, okay, all your digital games you bought on PS4, all your digital games you bought on Xbox One are compatible on the next console generation. Like that would be huge.
I think that's actually 100% like minimum, because like you and I are in a chat with Captain Canada, who's always telling us, oh, things are moving forward at this rate, we're due for new consoles. I'm like, you know what, the consoles are not going to blast the door open in a new way. The PCs will do that eventually, and then consoles will have to catch up. But I will say that the next console generation better have fucking backwards compatibility.
Especially Sony. Like they missed it, like I said, and Microsoft's killing it, especially with the backwards compatibility going all the way back to the Xbox, which is crazy for some games. So
there's actually a lot of original Xbox games on the store right now,
which is crazy.
There's probably like 30 of them at least,
which is good. I mean, I had an original Xbox, but I mainly played Halo on it, and then Grand Theft Auto 3 and Vice City when they released that that pack. But
the mod box.
yeah, exactly. And so it's just, hopefully they lean in that direction and we won't have to deal. But then the problem is developers won't be able to make as much money off console gamers because they're like, oh, we're releasing a remaster. Here's a remaster for $40. Here's a remaster for $40 again. Oh, you bought it like 10 years ago. We're going to remaster it again. Give us another $40, So it's like they, I know a lot of people are already going to PC, but personally, I prefer playing with a controller. I like the ecosystem I'm in with Sony. I love their exclusives. So it just boils down to preference, but hopefully they don't screw us over when the next consoles come out. Both sides, Microsoft or Sony. I hope, Microsoft's been doing a great job of turning it around as far as what, trying to adjust from their announcement back at E3 was that 2013.
Tell you what, that was a hell of a turnaround for them.
It is. It is. And it was crazy. It was crazy. But they've learned, and I hope both, like Matt has said in one of the posts, I believe it was just post about Sony saying the next console is like 3 years out. Like he's like, they better check their their attitudes, or check their confidence, check sure
their hubris at the door.
That's it. Just make sure you're not too confident going into it, and you put your best foot forward, especially for the customer. So. But anyways.
Yeah, because like for you guys, for what was it with PS, like after the whole thing with PS3 happening, and and that kind of going the same way, it like you guys got to see sometimes that pays as a consumer to be in second place. Yeah. Because then that's when you start getting all the the things that are geared towards the people versus them trying to make money, and that's what we're seeing with Xbox One right now, is we're getting all these amenities, or and getting all these good things, and it's because we're in second place right now, or whatever. Or
Right.
Well,
I mean,
but see, like that, it catches up too.
Yeah.
I mean, PS3 online play was free.
Yeah.
I mean, but then
now PS Plus is required. You have to pay $60 a year.
Yeah, but then you look at that and you look at what you're playing for. Like, look at the PS3 infrastructure, and now look at the PS4. Like, it's definitely more secure. I mean, Microsoft made the investment to have online gaming. I mean, PS2 was kind of doing it to a point. It had it had SOCOM, it had Final Fantasy 11 was on there. So it was moving in a direction where it was going with online gaming. But then Microsoft just, not like as a jab, but just came in and was like, we're going all out online gaming. And they made the infrastructure, invested in it, and then they made you pay, and people laughed, and then you had the great outage, PlayStation outage, and you also had people stealing information. Like, I had a buddy of mine who his Xbox account information got stolen through his PlayStation 3 because he used the same email address and password for both. And so, it's crazy what they're doing now, and it's just, I don't know. I just hope everything improves for us and things keep going. But I agree with you, Matt. Like, I don't see a need for a new console generation starting. I will say that Microsoft will kick it off, because Sony will not start next generation until they have to, because they have so many games, first party games, that they're holding back because they're so far ahead. And that's, like Jesse, you were saying, like, that's a disservice to me as a Sony consumer, because I'm not getting that game because you can keep pushing it out further and further. Like Days Gone, they can keep pushing Days Gone further and further out because they don't feel the pressure to release it. Whereas then with the PlayStation 3 cycle, they were pushing out games, on the regular, So,
well, the only thing though that I think PlayStation does kind of need to do something to upgrade is just with the fact that, like, it seems like a lot of the newer games coming out for the PS4 are making the PS4 struggle a little bit. And I feel it, like, I do think that they need to make that, because they made, like, I feel like that was only a half step going from the PS4 to the PS4 Pro. Like, and I think they needed to make a little bit bigger of a step there when they made that choice, because, like, I mean, when I play God of War on my PS4 Pro, it sounds like my apartment's gonna take off, like, because it's so loud, and I don't, and it's not that my PS4 Pro is that old, like, it just, I think God of War would benefit from it. It's the cat, man. Yeah.
Okay.
Cat. Yeah.
I didn't know you had a cat. That's awesome. No, it's Jesse's.
Yeah, it's mine. She's playing with a bag and, like, running around crazy like cats do at night.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like, I think PS4 and PS5 ultimately is going, or I think you're going to see a shift that way to where, like, your PS4 stuff's going to work on your PlayStation 5. Like, I think they have to do that at this point. So
yeah,
definitely.
Both companies. So
yeah.
Anyways,
all right, gentlemen, we've been going a while.
We have.
We're skipping. We're skipping 20 questions this week.
Yeah,
still ahead. Woo!
Mainly because I know Moose is tired. I know Corey's tired.
I got to be up in less than 6 hours.
I am in that boat as well. I don't know what your situation is, Jesse. No disrespect.
I
know you work
just because I suck at the game.
I know you work nights.
Yeah, so I'm good. Yeah, I'll probably be up for like a.
So you're gonna go play games and then go to bed in like
hours. I'm jealous.
I'm jealous too, you prick. No.
I wasn't going that far. But
Thank you so much for joining us. You are always welcome back, despite being a host of an Xbox show.
Whoa, now.
It's a fun show. We did a Turtles commentary this week.
Yeah, you guys did right after Pow Block, but I was dead.
Nice.
I was dead and in no way interested. When does that go up? What is that spoiler? When
Wednesday.
Does that commentary go? The commentary goes up Wednesday.
Yeah. It's just going up in place of the podcast. So,
Yeah, all right.
it'll be up by the time the show goes live.
Okay.
Properly.
All right. Well, Jesse, where can our viewers and listeners find you?
You can find me on Twitter at @sub_humanist, and then obviously on Arsenal X and Pow Block occasionally when I'm not a question mark.
Another question mark. Nice.
Moose.
Svhenn, PSN, Instagram, Twitter. That's pretty much it for that. NG_platinum for the Nerds Gone Platinum Twitter page. You can tweet us there what you're playing, questions, comments, concerns for the show. You can also email us at nerdsgoneplatinum@gmail.com. Yeah, that's pretty much that. Corey?
They got a spoiler cast coming up too.
Yeah, we got a God of War spoiler cast in the books. It's coming up soon. I believe that's our episode for this week. We concluded that that'll be our episode for the week. So once, Corey edits it and puts it up, we'll probably
should I put a number on that episode, or should I just...
I would just put it as the spoiler cast. I mean, I don't know. We could talk with Jason.
Okay.
I feel it could just be a spoiler cast, and we won't count it as an episode. But anyways.
Yeah.
I am Infinite_Rewind on every social media platform I choose to be on. That's Instagram, Twitter, PSN. I have a Switch friend code that Corey puts in the description of this show because I'm not on Tinder. I have a girlfriend that I'm very happy with. I am very much in love with that woman, and you're probably going to be stuck with me and Reba together. I'm going to let that cat out of the bag right now on the show. I know. She likes you, too. She's pretty fond of Kelly, too.
Sweet.
So... with that, Corey, take us home.
You can find me at CoreyHD on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find the show every Monday at 7 a.m. Eastern Time on youtube.com/NGRradio, NGRradio.com, and your podcast service of choice. Join our Facebook group, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at NGRradio Podcast, as well as Instagram. I think that's it. Yep. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching, and until next week.
Warriors beat the Rockets.
I know.
The Golden Knights beat the Capitals.
This is a dream season for that team. So
yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, we love you.
Banana and out.
You're welcome.
Bye, everybody.
Jesse. There you go.
Yeah.
Throw up the X.
The X.